Hello and welcome. I'm glad you found me today on my YouTube channel, Stamp with Julie Baum. Today I'm going to be giving you a couple of pointers and some little helpful hints when it comes to putting together the Stampin' Up! Sweet and Spooky kit. This kit is absolutely adorable. I have already put together mine, and the kit contains all of the products you need to make 15 treat boxes. I'm going to show you the boxes in just a moment. After putting together my 15, and then also after teaching a kit class last night where all of my participants successfully put together their kits, we learned a few things along the way, and I thought I would share those with you here today. Stampin' Up! Always has a YouTube video that coordinates with each kit. I recommend that you always watch those, whether you're new to crafting or not. It's very nice to see the items being put together and the steps that they recommend before you jump in and start with your kit. But this is kind of an add-on video so that you can see some things that I learned and maybe a few things that make it even easier. All right, so in the kit, you're going to get the products to make. Now look how big these boxes are. They're a very nice size. You're going to get all of the products and elements to make 5 of each box. So this is the haunted house box. It's got a cute little iridescent ghost on the side. Then there's this box. You're going to make 5 of these with this cute little ghost tag. You're going to be able to make 5 of these with this cute star paper. And this one has the bat on the front. And as I said, you're going to make 5 of each of those 3 designs for a total of 15 boxes. So let's peek inside and see what you get when you purchase your Sweet and Spooky kit. Inside the box, shrink wrapped in some plastic, are all the elements that you're going to need, including the little photo and direction sheet. Now this is very helpful, and it does lay out some important steps for you to follow, and if you are newer to crafting, this can be super, super helpful. If you've made kits in the past, a lot of times the steps are similar and they might make sense to you. But you're just going to take your scissors and slit this little package open so that you can pull all of your parts out. Then what you're going to do is you're going to begin by making piles based on each project. So you're going to put all 5 of your star box papers together. You're going to punch out all of the elements. This box needs the orange rectangle. It needs the boo. It needs this black skinny rectangle with the flag, a bat, and then you'll also use some twine and one of the orange paper clips. All right, so I would create my stack. There would be 5 of the boxes, 5 of the boos, 5 of the, so you're gonna just make a pile of all of these elements. You're also going to make a pile of these ones. So this is the ghost and the pumpkin paper. You're gonna punch out the elements. So you're gonna have 5 of this pale purple or lilac piece. You're gonna have your little black flag with the stars on it, a ghost, the eek flag, one of these little toothpicks that are included in the kit, and then of course your orange paper clip and your twine. So you're going to have a stack of 5 times that amount all in front of you. And then the last one is the haunted house. So you'll have all 5 boxes laid out in front of you, the elements for that one, the purple rectangle, the skinny orange shiny flag that is super cute in person. All of these little elements just really pop when you look at them in person. The trick or treat tag, a jack-o'-lantern, and then this little ghost. Here is something we all learned last night, and that is when you're punching these out, they're a little bit delicate. So take your time when you're punching out the shiny kind of holographic ghosts. These other pieces, they're thicker, and you can usually punch a couple of them out at the same time, but be very careful with your little ghosts. All right, let me show you how to put together the box. because it's the same process for all 15, no matter which design. Sorry, my little dog Pino is telling me that I'm getting an Amazon delivery. No matter which pattern of box you're putting together, they all will go together the same. The process is the same. So I'm going to show you how to put together one of the boxes, then we'll talk about the individual tags. All right, let's begin. I think we'll start with the star. I'll show you how to put together the star box. All right, you also have this cardboard piece that comes inside the kit, which is often very helpful, especially if you're doing stamping. Now, this kit does not have any actual stamping involved. It's all assembly. But this is a nice little piece to use as your, kind of like your little placemat, or if you were stamping, kind of as that little cushion. We do not need this right this minute, so I'm just going to set it aside. All right, the best way to do this is to take a bone folder. The bone folder is not part of the kit, and what I tell all of my class participants, if you are a kit crafter, everything you need is in the box, with the exception of 3 critical tools that I feel make your crafting experience better. That is a bone folder, a take your pick tool, and a pair of really good, sharp, pointed scissors. If you have these items, you are going to succeed. If you are crafting with kits and you have not purchased these items, go ahead and pop them on into your cart and add those today, because they really make a difference when you're doing your crafting. All right, so for the box, all 15 of them, we're going to do the same steps. We are going to fold and go ahead and crease using your bone folder on all of the pre-scored lines. So there's this one long one that's about 3/4 of an inch or an inch. Then we're going to come down here and score this one, or fold this one on the score line. Then there's this one, which is actually all those little flaps. So I'm going to bring those up individually, give them a press. Then we're going to fold going the opposite direction. There's a tiny little tab on one end. You want to make sure to fold that. Give it a good crease. And then this section, this one is already folded and creased because that's how it was in the packaging. And then the last section. So now we've folded and pressed with our bone folder each of the pre-scored lines. Now, here's something that you don't learn from the other video that we found helpful, and that is to locate the 2 panels that have these little triangles in them. Above the triangle is a small score line. It is very helpful at this point if you just go ahead and bend that score line on the printed side. You can see what happens. It automatically begins pushing the box in the correct direction. So it's very helpful to do that, and that was not part of the video put out by Stampin' Up. So just make that little crease. Okay, now you're going to grab your tear and tape, which comes in the kit. You're going to locate the skinny little tab, and this is the side we're going to start with. You're going to place your tear and tape onto the tab, and you're going to stop before you get to this crease here. All right. We found it easier to not put one whole long piece along here so that tape is covering that crease. Go ahead and stop before the crease and then put a second piece here. Now it's very easy to find what to do next because you're going to use this tape as your identifying side, and you're going to use the square that's right near that tape, and that's where the last of the adhesive goes. I'm putting this below the score line. I'm going to show you the score line because it's hard to see on camera. It's right there. All right, so I'm going to put my tear and tape below that score line, but kind of close to it. You can tear your tear and tape, or you can cut it with scissors. Often I will tear my tape by holding it down with my metal ruler and then pulling it against the edge of the ruler. So whatever method works for you. Okay, we're gonna peel off this long side now, both pieces, and if your fingernails will allow, you can peel off the backing. If that's a little bit of a struggle, you can take your pick tool, and that will help pop that backing up. Now, this is the magic of some of these boxes that I just love. Here is our sticky side. We're not going to pull this one apart yet. Here's our sticky side. I'm just going to keep that side up, but I'm going to flip my box like this. All right? So here's that sticky tab we just created. All you have to do is take this edge of the piece of the box and bring it over and seal it. It lines up perfectly. You don't have to do any silly finagling or figuring out how it goes. Like if the box was open like this, you just seal it on the side, done. Now we can peel off this piece, take the backing off. And what I had my students do is hold this now on the tabletop in front of you with the sticky side towards you. And then you're simply going to go right and left, then the sticky part, and then this flap is going to get sealed with that sticky tear and tape. And your box has its shape. Okay, now if you'd like, you can take your bone folder. This was the edge that just got sealed. And just reach in there and kind of press it down a little bit. It's awkward to try to put your hand in there and press. And by pressing here, you don't have much leverage. So sometimes that's helpful. All right, super easy now. These sides are already wanting to go in because we pre-pressed that crease. So you simply bring those together and pinch. And now we have the milk carton shape box. All right, here's another tip. What I recommend at this point is you take your paper clip and just go ahead and attach it to hold the box closed and move on to the next one. Do at least all 5-star boxes. If you want to do all 15 boxes, just do them because now you have an assembly line going. You do your folding and scoring, you do your tape, you remove the backing, you put it together, you add the paper clip, and you do the same thing again. And you just continue that until your boxes are made. All right, once your boxes are made, we're gonna add the adorable little tags. Now, on the star box is this tag with the hey, boo, and the bat. So let me show you a fast way to put those together. You've already got your elements because we did that in the beginning. One other thing I'm going to have you do at this point is to take your spool of twine. You're going to measure out your 15 inches, and there is a measuring guide on that little instruction sheet inside your kit. So you can use that to measure 15 inches of twine, then use the piece that you just cut and use it as a guide and continue measuring and cutting so you have 15 pieces of 15-inch twine, all right? Then they're just sitting there ready to go. You're not having to stop, find your scissors, do the measuring, cut, and then move to a different step. You're doing it all at once. All right. In the other video, it appears that they put a dimensional on the back of this piece, which means that once you put it on here, it's going to be stuck to the box. Okay, we eliminated that step, and here's why. A lot of us are crafting, like we did, in August for October. We have not even purchased our Halloween candy yet that's going to go in here. So we don't want this completely sealed and kind of like finished. We just want to get it to a point where it's complete, but we can still open the box, put our treats inside, and then seal it. So we are not going to put a dimensional on the back of the orange piece. All right, you will flip all of your black pieces over. Remember, we're doing this 5 times. So you got 5 orange pieces sitting there. You take your 5 black strips with the flag in, flip them all over, and you're gonna add a dimensional to the middle of each of those 5. You're gonna take your 5 hey boo tags, flip all 5 over, and also put a dimensional on the back of that. All right, for your bat, you only need a partial dimensional. So you can either take your scissors and take a whole one and cut it in half, or if you've got some edges like this, that is about the perfect size for the back of your bat, because it's going to go here along the bat's body from head to tail. So you've done all that in an assembly line process, and then here we go. You're going to peel off your little dimensional. You're going to line up the holes on the tags. I'm adjusting my glasses because I can't see the holes. You're going to line up your holes and press this piece down. Take this backing off, line up the holes, and press that one down. Taking our bat, and you can decide if you want the bat up a little bit higher and it can rest on this pink paper, or you can bring it down a little bit and it can rest on the black and with the shiny part, that paper. Okay, that's very fast. You've done that now 5 times. Glued the black to the orange, glued the pink to the black, and glued the bat to the whole thing. You can reach for your little star embellishments at this point. You're going to use 3 on this tag, and you can position them wherever you want. The next thing you're going to do is take your twine, and you're going to feed it through the holes that you lined up in your tag. And here's another tip. You're going to go ahead and have your tag threaded on to the twine. Then take this end of your twine and thread it through the hole in your paper clip. Pulling the twine up and evening out the ends. I'm going to lay this down so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. All right, so you're going to even out those ends. And then you're simply going to tie your bow. So what we're doing is we're completing the tag, twine, bow, and all, and it's all attached to the paper clip. Now your 15 inches gives you a lot of wiggle room to tie your bow, and you can make it as big or as small as you want. You can trim the tails if you want, or just leave them long and loopy. But watch the magic of this. This was what made it so exciting for us. Now, when I'm ready to fill this with treats, I can pull the paper clip off, my tag and bow stay intact, fill this with treats, and then I simply have to reattach my paper clip to the top of the box. And this is ready to gift. Okay, so that's the star one with the Hey Boo tag. I'm not going to make another box here on camera because you have already now learned how to make the box, but I will go through the steps of the tag, and this is for this box, and I'll give you a couple of hints along the way for that one. So same thing, you're going to have 5 of these, and we are not going to put a dimensional. Let's go back and talk about that. If we had glued the dimensional on the back of that orange one, this would now be stuck down, which would prevent you from removing the whole thing. Now you could find a different process that works for you, that's fine. But this was a great way to do it for us. And if later, once the treats are in the box, if then you want to add a dimensional or 2 to the back of the tag and stick it on, that's a great time to do it. Otherwise you can just leave it like so. Okay, so we talked about that. So we're not going to put the dimensional on the purple or the pink. You're going to flip all 5 of your black tags over and add a dimensional to those. Let me also mention all of these little pieces that you punch out that create the tag. For the most part, the little punched hole is stuck in there. And so if you just take a couple of moments and remove those, it will be very helpful in the long run. And also notice that on this particular tag, the hole in this piece is over to the side. The only reason that matters is as you think about lining this up, once the dimensional is on it, you may want your dimensional a little bit more to this side. instead of the center. Although if you aimed for center, it'll still grab it. But we went ahead and placed a dimensional towards the left side on the back of each black tag. Then you're going to flip over all 5 ghosts and add a dimensional onto them. On your little eek flag, you'll find that there is a score line. Go ahead and fold all 5 of those and set them aside. Now, we already cut our twine for all of the boxes, so you already have that cut. And we have our little stick. This goes together very quickly. Peel the backing off, line up the holes, press it down, add the ghost. The little ghost's arms, his little right arm can kind of hang off, and the tail should be somewhere near the orange star, about like that. Okay, let's work on this part. I'll show you some tricks that I think make it a little bit easier. You're going to reach for your tear and tape again. Instead of putting a piece this direction here and a second piece here, the reason I think this is easier is you don't have to get the size of this strip precise. I would suggest that you just go ahead and put your strips this direction. You can tear or cut them, but it doesn't even matter if they're not a specific size. You're just going to lay it in that area. All right, so I've got my 2 pieces. They're going over the fold. Now, remove the backing, and you're going to grab your stick, which the stick is really thought through because it's got flat edges. It's like a square toothpick. So it's got flat edges, which keeps it from rolling away. Make sure the direction of your words is not upside down, and you're going to lay your stick to the left of that little fold, that little crease that we talked about. Remember we said there was a little crease right there? Lay your stick to the left of it. And then you're going to bring that fold up and over. And you're going to press it down. Now, here is a step that makes it very helpful. Go back to your bone folder and use the tip of the bone folder to press that orange paper down into your tear and tape. This is making it stick nice and tight up against the toothpick, up against the flag stick. Now you notice I've got extra tear and tape here. It doesn't matter, it's not going to hurt anything. So it made it a lot faster than trying to measure a certain length by just not worrying about it. A dimensional is going to go in this area anyway. And it now is going to get added so that the ghost is holding on to the stick and the dimensional grabs on to the tag. And there you have it. We're going to add 1 star on this tag, although you will end up with extra stars. So if you want to put a few more on the ghost tag, that is totally up to you. It seemed like most people either chose to put it down here on the purple or here on the black. It's totally up to you wherever you want to put your star. So I've done it both ways. I'm going to go ahead and put it down here for today. We're going to do the same process at that point. You're going to take your paper clip, clip it to your completed box. You're going to thread your pre-cut 15 inches of twine through the tag. And then you're going to thread this side through your paper clip, which is on the box, and tie it up with a bow. And then at that point, it will look like this. And once again, you can remove the paper clip from the box, fill it with treats, and then put the whole thing right back down onto the box. All right, the last one for this video is the haunted house box. I've already showed you how to make the box. We've talked about the tag elements, so you're going to do the same process. You're going to stick your orange piece to the striped piece with a dimensional, and your trick or treat tag to the orange piece with a dimensional behind the jack-o'-lantern. You've got plenty of stars. You can add some on here. The part that is not shown very well in the other is where in the world does that cute little ghost go that we talked about? And so your ghost is going to go, in fact, the one that I had punched out, I'm looking for, here it is. So this little ghost does not go on the tag, but what you can do is turn it over here onto the door, the front door of the haunted house, and add your little holographic ghost with a dimensional right there, and it's adorable. So there you have it. We have our 3 versions of our boxes. You'll make a total of 15 boxes. This is an absolutely fantastic craft for you to work on by yourself or with some friends. I hope that you'll give this one a try and let me know how it goes.